Now, Sports Talk with Brodes. Here's Hunter Brody.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Brodes. You can't make this stuff up. Nate Prosser enters the lineup, a 35-year-old who hasn't played in the NHL in years, and he scores the first goal to tie up the game. It's ridiculous. He played on the penalty kill because he played with Mike Yeo in Minnesota, so there seems to be a comfortable relationship there. He was punching guys in the face after the whistle to show some toughness. He was all over the place, and as much as I made fun of the move before, because let's be realistic, it was reasonable to laugh in pain knowing that you were that desperate defensively to even make that move. He made the most of his opportunity. Now, do I think that this is sustainable? Absolutely not. I think you're eventually going to see a 35-year-old who hasn't played in the NHL in years. But for right now, it's so ugly. It's so miserable defensively. Why not take a chance? I guess the alternative can't be much worse. We've seen the alternative. We've seen some sloppy play. And to be fair, you saw it in this game too. That's why I'm so confused on how they have the record that they do. The first two periods were an abomination. They were getting worked in the defensive zone. The Devils kept cycling the puck all over. I remember a specific shift where Justin Braun could not keep up with anyone down below the goal line. He's trying to stop and start, but he's getting roasted with speed and tight turns. Travis Sanheim is getting out-muscled and out-competed on the wall, which results in Sanheim taking a penalty, and the Devils went to the power play. Not that they scored on that power play, not that the Devils scored on that chance, but it just shows you what happens in that D zone at times. You just are getting waxed with the cycle, and here's the opposing team having so much time and space, and they're moving the puck along the walls, and they're beating you to lose pucks, and they're winning their puck battles, while the Flyers, whenever they do get the puck, they can't make a tape-to-tape pass, and they can't generate any sort of offense. They had 8 total shots through the first 2 periods. Explain to me how you're going to win a hockey game like that. You're just not. You're not. Early on, you had Claude Giroux right off the jump, PK Subban with a miserable decision, and he sucks, by the way. You know, there was this time where you thought the Shea Weber deal and the PK Subban deal actually worked out in favor of the team that acquired PK Subban. Well, the tables have turned because Shea Weber has rejuvenated his career, and he's becoming a hell of a player again, while PK Subban is a nightmare. How many times did he find himself in the damn box over the last 2 games? But I digress. He had a bad play, turned the puck over early. Claude Giroux had a breakaway. It looked like he lost control, and the puck went right into the corner. And Joel Farabee had a really nice, strong take to the blue paint as he bursted with speed and energy through the neutral zone to the offensive zone, but he wasn't able to cash in. I thought that was somewhat of a statement, and that would dictate how the game was going to go. Well, I was really wrong because it was not that way. Gustafsson with poor gap allowed the Devils. Severson put a puck on that. It ended up hitting the post and in. I don't know if it redirected off of Gustafsson's stick or not, but it was clear and evident that he did not have strong gap, and he was not close enough to once again take away time and space from the Devils. And that resulted in a goal for the Devils early. Look, Carter Hart, though, he was awesome. He was the reason why you came out on top because he held you in this. The Devils had so many chances. He's 2-pad stacking in the blue paint, right? I mean, he's diving on his side and he's flashing the leather. You name it, he executed it. And this was such a big win for him considering his last outing. He was extremely pissed off. He was showing his emotions maybe a little bit too much. And Brian Elliott has been playing very well to this point. Not that there's ever going to be a true goalie controversy by any means. Everyone's fully aware that Carter Hart is the goalie of the future, but there's pressure. There's pressure when Brian Elliott throws a 40-save shutout in there, and there's pressure when he supports that following performance with another strong outing where the Flyers ended up winning. So there is added internal stress as well. he was able to kind of put that behind him and attack this with a new mentality and be the Carter Hart that we all anticipate him being. We are broadcasting live from the Manscaped Man Cave as we continue on here with the conversation. You get 20% off and free shipping with the code BROD at manscaped.com. So, yeah, I mean, the offense in the first two periods, it was egregious. I mean, they were putting me to sleep. I tweeted this out. This Flyers team puts me to sleep. And I used a gif of, I think I went with the Simpsons, just snoring away. It really is unwatchable hockey at times. And it sucks because I remember the end of last year when they were on that playoff run and they were playing the Islanders. Well, it wasn't the prettiest hockey by any means then either, and that's what the Islanders do. They make it uncomfortable hockey. And the Habs series, I guess, in retrospect here, it wasn't as if it was some dominating performances either. It got ugly and chippy, and you found ways to win. My point is, though, last year, this Flyers team was way more exciting. While their record might show you right now and might tell you a story, I don't think it gives you the full definition of this team. They go through way many stretches of time where it looks like the worst hockey in the NHL, where they look clueless, where they're losing their assignments, where they can't make basic plays, where they can't enter the zone and actually put a shot on net and create any sort of buzz. It's ridiculous. It's putrid, and it can't continue to happen. I don't believe that this team will be able to make a serious run if this type of play continues. And I know that's not a hot take, but I truly do think some are a little mind screwed, or they're getting a little brainwashed with the outcome, not realizing what's happening. They ended up sweeping the New Jersey Devils, and there was a little bit of energy by this Devils team entering this series, but at the end of the day, they're not very good. They're just not. I thought Alain Vigneault pushed all the right buttons in that third period. For as bad as the first two periods were, the third period was strong. And you got to give credit to the head coach because he made that happen with the belief in that fourth line. Bunneman, Raffl, and aube-kubel. Now, it is clear as day that aube-kubel entered the offensive zone, got in on the forecheck, and there was a tripping penalty that was not called. The Flyers benefit from it. The puck goes out in front. Connor Bunneman, look, everyone's talking about the non-call from aube-kubel, but realistically, if you go rewatch that play, what Bunneman did to get the puck in his possession, to grab it, put it on his stick, and to get the puck to the net, it's not like he had a lot of space to do it, and it's not as if, he had a lot to work with there. He was in close on the goalie, on Wedgwood, but he was able to put the puck down and make that play happen in such a small area on the ice. That's impressive. Now, there was a bounce involved that got to Raffl where he had a wide open net, so boom, you were able just to tap it in. But that was a small area of the ice to be able to operate the way that he did. And really, Alain Vigneault put a lot of trust in them to go out and play. They were playing serious minutes. I also thought the leadership was big. There's been many times where I questioned the leadership group, not just Claude Giroux, Voracek, you name it. Claude Giroux showed emotion. Claude Giroux showed good emotion, though. He was frustrated. And I go through this a lot when it comes to sports, and I use this with Joel Embiid specifically. You can play with an attitude and with this personality, and then there's a line where you go over it and it's almost too much emotion. Sometimes Matt Tkachuk is the perfect example. Sometimes he crosses the line of playing with that emotion. You got to find the right level. Well, Claude Giroux, who's normally not this outspoken guy on the ice, I think it really sparked the team, and the guys rose to the occasion, and they were feeding off of him getting pissed off with the officials or him talking when he was at the face-off dot. There was a lot in play with the emotional side of Claude Giroux, which I thought elevated this team to the next level, and that's what sort of kicked them into gear for that third. And he played a crucial part of that third goal where he scored his first of the season. We thought the other night he ended up scoring with that wicked wrister short side on, was that the Tuukka Rask goal? Was that the goal on the power play where Konechny was standing in front? I just forget if that was against the Boston Bruins or not. It's somewhat slipping my mind, but my gut tells me that's who it is. Regardless, after the game, they ended up crediting the goal to Travis Konechny for being in front of the net, so that technically wasn't Claude Giroux's goal. He scored his first tonight, but it starts prior to him getting net front and putting his stick in an area for a nice slap pass from Gustafsson. It started with the face-off dot. It started with the will. It started with the battle. It started with the hard work and the work ethic of winning that battle at the face-off dot. That's where it starts. If you lose that draw clean, guess what? That gives the opportunity for the Devils to get the puck behind the goal line, maybe get a rim, get a set defensive zone breakout in play. Regardless, even if they just chip the puck out of the zone and they get a forecheck established from there, you need to win your draws. And Claude Giroux battled. They won their draw. It got the forecheck down low. Beautiful pass all the way to the far blue line to Gustafsson, who had his head wide open, or his head up, I should say, his eyes wide open, and he had a nice slap pass to Claude Giroux, who lost his stick, got his stick back, put the blade in an area where you can redirect the puck in, and you can see like he grit his teeth in his celebration. I'm telling you, there's something to be said about the drive that he had from this outburst emotionally that I really admire, because it's not something that you naturally see. And I know I talk about this all the time with the frauds out there that think Claude Giroux is the biggest problem and you should rip the C off of his chest. Those people, you just don't experience hockey locker rooms. Those people have not been involved in a hockey locker room. You heard the youth of this team praise what Claude Giroux does when it comes to that room and the leadership qualities that he brings. Everyone acts as if you have the C, that means you have to put up 100 points. Because Claude Giroux is no longer this 100-point guy or this big-time, flashy, insane, skilled player that he once was. And to be clear, he still has a skill set that is magnificent. Is there a drop-off? Yeah, there's a little bit of a drop-off. He's not that far off of a 100-point season, though, may I add, where he was in the conversation of MVP of the league, and he just came shy just by an inch, just by a hair. So he's not far off from that season alone, but I can agree, and I'm with you, he's not that same younger version of Claude Giroux, and that's fine, he doesn't need to be, but I don't know why people relate a scoring threat and this amazing, outstanding A-plus game-changing player with the captain. There's plenty of captains throughout the league that isn't necessarily top one, number one, lethal franchise, number one guy. Like Claude Giroux is a franchise changer through and through. Right now, though, yeah, he's on the back end of his career, but you can be an efficient player that's not your number one scorer and still be a great leader in the locker room. This narrative that Claude Giroux's the reason why this team hasn't won a cup, you have no clue how this team has been operated since Claude Giroux has been here. You're the same person that bitches you can't win a playoff series without a goalie. You're the same person that bitches that Ron Hextall wasn't calling up any of these prospects. You're the same person that bitches that this team wasn't deep enough and didn't have enough talent. So which one is it? I mean, it's the easy scapegoat, and it's such an irrational thought, and it bothers me because it blows my mind that people truly believe that Claude Giroux is the biggest issue with this franchise. It's just an uneducated thought. You don't know what a captain does in a locker room. When I played growing up, right, I mean, we were the top team in the country that our entire team, not our entire team, 90% of the squad committed D1, and we went on a big-time national run. Our captain, stay-at-home defenseman who did the gritty work, all right, who battled, who brought the intensity every day, who was a monster guy in terms of playing physically. He wasn't a goal scorer. He wasn't a point producer, but that set the tone for our team. Claude Giroux being the player that he is, doing all the little things, the intangibles that some don't recognize because they're not smart enough to recognize when it comes to understanding the game of hockey. It's just silly. It really is. And I'll defend Claude Giroux until the day that I die. Sadly, my father is one of those strip-to-see Claude Giroux is a problem guy. But he's also one of those I love the Flyers in the 70s guys that hasn't really adapted to 2021 and how great the game has truly become. Not to get too sidetracked, but I work with someone at 97.3, Billy Schweim, and he's really close with Craig Berube. And Billy Schweim is a real old-school hockey guy, loves fights, hates the new hockey. It's not fun. It's stupid this way. Big guys beat up on little guys. This game's not tough enough. And he asked Craig Berube, because we all know about Chief. We all know about the style of play he had. And he said, what can you say about the guys in today's game and how the game is today? Like, how much better is the game today? And Billy Schweim thought that Berube would say something along the lines of, oh, yeah, of course, the old-time hockey was better. He shut that down real quick. You got to see what these players do. When you're up close and personal, the skill level, the plays they make on their backhand, the saucer passes, when there's barely space and they still find ways to thread the needle, the equipment level as well plays a role in how they're able to get their snapshots off so quickly, and the flex on the sticks and the velocity and power and the speed that they do it at, and not just the speed in terms of quickness with their hands, with the stick handling, but in full speed, in full stride. The game is unbelievable. And these get off my lawn guys when it comes to the game. It just upsets me that they're not able to appreciate the greatness for what it is. But look, I mean, I guess I'm the same person that just bitched and complained that this team is unwatchable right now. But those are two different conversations. The game, the style of hockey in today's game is not unwatchable. This team defensively is unwatchable, where they can't make breakout passes and they're not getting proper support. And when they get the puck on their stick, it's like a trampoline. It just bounces out. The cycle game. I couldn't believe what I saw from the cycle game out of the Devils. It shouldn't be that hard to stop forwards in your defensive zone that are just cycling the puck at ease. Right? I mean, it got pretty embarrassing at times, and the Devils ended up getting a power play because of it. You got to move your feet. You got to play the body. You got to put stick on puck. But they were incapable. It's wild. What else is wild is what you can get utilizing DraftKings Sportsbook. Before we continue, they have this tremendous offer available. Pigskin fans, the moment you have been waiting for all season is right around the corner. DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of Super Bowl 55, is bringing back their golden ticket giveaway with up to $55 million in prizes up for grabs. All you have to do to get your share of these huge prizes is enter DraftKings free Super Bowl prediction challenge. Once you submit your picks, you will get a free instant prize up to $25,000. The top prize is $1 million. DraftKings has paid out over $7 billion to its players since 2012. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code Brodes to enter the free $55 million Super Bowl prediction challenge. Everyone gets an instant prize up to $25,000 just for playing. So use promo code Brodes now and enter the free $55 million Super Bowl challenge only at DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of Super Bowl 55. Terms, conditions, and eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. I don't know if I've really given Carter Hart enough credit to this point, though. I mean, it was amazing what he did. You got a bunch of saves from him, and the Devils had some really good looks. And he made a lot of them look simple, right? There were some tough saves out there where, because Carter Hart is so sound positionally and because he's anticipating the play and he's properly in his crease, taking away the angles to the professional level that he does when he's playing A+, they looked simpler than they really were. But the Devils had a tough time cracking the code, and it was great. It's what you need out of Carter Hart. You are going to learn that there's going to be ups and downs with Carter Hart. That's the nature of having such a young player involved and invested with a guy that you state is your franchise at such a young age. It's not going to be easy, and there's a little bit of me that liked the frustration that he showed, and a little bit of me that thought that, hey, you got to hold back those emotions. It was so piss poor in front of him that it's a statement to the team. You cracked Carter Hart. Carter Hart is not this guy that is filled with this outrageous emotion. So when it comes out, you know that he hit a wall. It's like he cracked. It's like that he got so annoyed and so irritated with having to make these saves, and when he couldn't, when it's just too much, and when it happens over and over and over again, you're stranded and left out to dry so many times that you eventually crack and you start getting pissed off, and it shows. So it's almost like a statement to the team. Look what you did to Carter Hart. You made the 20-year-old kid boil and turn red like a damn tomato and explode. That's how bad it is. That's how piss poor you are. You made AV put in a 35-year-old who hasn't played a damn game of hockey in the NHL in years. So I like it from that angle. I also feel, and I get it, the emotions got the best of him. I'm not the... I'm someone who has been down that road. I'm someone who played with a lot of that on the ice, and I've been in those moments where I let it happen. I let it fly. I put my team in a bad position, but there's plenty of times where that's the positive side of it as well. I put my team in great positions. Travis Konechny, I used Matthew Tkachuk as the example. Travis Konechny's another guy. I think he's learning when the best time to use it is and when there's times where he has to shy away from it because it can benefit the other team. You can allow the other team to gain momentum because you get them engaged and you get them to get a bunch of swag. So you got to pick and choose your moments. That's why fighting and the momentum changes in fighting is a pick and choose situation. When you're up 3-1 and you're dominating, why would you fight? There's no reason to. Why would you give the other team even the smallest chance to gain some momentum? It's the same there. So I would like to see Carter Hart somewhat bottle those emotions up at the same time. You got to pick and choose when to do it. But reality is, Carter Hart, to get back on track here, that was great. That was great. He stopped a lot of fantastic chances, whether it's in the slot, high slot, whether it's from the point and they're taking shots and they're trying to take away his eyes, but he still is able to manage to get his pad on it. But to me, what stands out the most is just the professionalism of the angles. There's goalies out there that just make saves any way that they can. Doesn't matter how, they just do it. They'll flop around like a fish. They'll be out of whack, out of sync in terms of being sound, but it doesn't matter because they still get a glove on it. He's in the right moments. When he's locked in, I should say. Because it's not all the defense's fault when the Flyers allowed goals over the last handful of Carter Hart starts. Some short side goals that he would like to get back, so it's on him as well. It's a combination of him being stressed out for having to step up in all these situations that he knows that he can't, and he also needs to step up when the plays are easy, that he's allowing some soft ones, some flukier goals, some easier goals. He's got to find that balance for sure. They have the Islanders, right? The Islanders coming up on a back-to-back. The last time they played the Islanders, guess what? It was Game 7. And I'm sure Carter Hart is going to want a piece of revenge. And he even kind of alluded to that in the post-game press conference. Mentioned that the Islanders was the last opponent at the end of last season. I know I'm bouncing around a little bit, but that Nate Prosser goal was hilarious to me. It really was. Him driving the net. Gustafsson ended up getting 2 assists on the day. I thought he had some really tough moments before he was scratched. He found himself back into the lineup. He threw the puck on that. He had 2 apples tonight, so you really can't complain. I didn't like what he did defensively with the first goal, but that's what you're going to get out of Gustafsson. You're going to get good plays. You're going to get bad plays. You'll get good offensive plays. You're going to get bad in the D zone. That's just reality of the situation. But you see Prosser go to the net hard, attack with a purpose, get to the blue paint, and the raw natural reaction of him and his teammates' excitement, that's sports, man. I mean, look, I was a stay-at-home defenseman who every year I scored once. I would find a way to score once. So every season, when you look through my stats from 2012 to the year that I finished, 1 goal was in the goal column. But when I did that, like, you could see the team reaction. It was big. It was huge. Like, the team, like, they rallied behind that because it's someone who normally doesn't score. Like, that's a big deal. Like, that's a big cash in. So for him to be the guy, I think that's a different impact than, let's say, if Travis Konechny scored a rebound goal, or if JVR tipped the puck in, or if Ivan Provorov had a blast. The fact that it was him, like, there's a different vibe surrounding the team because it was him. I don't know what to expect from this guy really legitimately moving forward. I love seeing the natural reaction from everyone. And look, what sucked about my last season though, I scored in the preseason, and I'm good for 1 goal a year. I'll tally around 8, 9, 10 assists or whatever. Stay-at-home D-man. In a 40-game season throughout my career, I was about 1 goal, 9 assists kind of guy. I did the dirty work. I did all the little things that didn't show up on the score sheet, and I was fully okay with that role. Somebody has to do it. But I remember my last year, I scored in the preseason, and I was pissed off. My coach was like, Brodes, why are you so pissed off? I wasted my goal, damn it. Now I'm never going to score, and it won't count in the regular season. And no one cares about preseason goals. And the way that my team worked was you can't take out your earpieces to have your flow rocking out of your bucket until you scored a goal. So here I am rocking my damn earpieces even though I scored, but it happened in the regular season. I was pissed off. We're a little all over the place tonight, but yeah, I mean, that's just defines the Flyers. The Flyers were all over the place in the D zone. The Flyers were all over the place in the neutral zone. Neutral zone turnovers. Not being able to get into the offensive zone. I saw this power play. Holy hell, I forgot all about this. They could not gain the zone. And the problem is, like, they did gain the zone. They had a setup. They ended up getting a one-timer. It hits the glass. It rims out of the zone. Voracek probably should have been able to keep it in, but he missed it. He mishandled it. Then they struggled from there to kind of reestablish themselves. They tried to regroup. They failed. The Devils got the puck. They send it down the length of the ice. They pick up the puck. They try and move back in and enter the offensive zone with flow. What ends up happening? Take a wild guess. Excuse me. I'm like hiccuping and burping here. Take a wild guess. Well, the Devils get the puck. They get shut down around the offensive zone, blue line, the Flyers that is, and there goes the puck along the other way. Like, you can't generate 8 shots in a hockey game. So I know we're all going to feel good about it because the third period was strong, and it was a really good third period, but we can't act as if those 2 first periods didn't happen. Those first 2 periods, you play a better team, and you're down a hole. And I don't know if you can necessarily dig yourself out of that hole when you play tougher opponents. So that is a concern for me. And this team needs to get a new identity because this is getting old real quick. It's a problem real quick. Good news is Myers has been skating. Sean Couturier seems to be a little bit behind him, but hopefully we see him soon. Shane Gostisbehere. I thought Shane Gostisbehere, you look at his time on ice, and he gave you another strong performance in terms of time on ice. That's where we're at right now. You know, Shane Gostisbehere is playing well, and maybe a lot of that has to do with finally being healthy. You know, there was that report that him and Alain Vigneault have a clean slate, a clean sheet of ice between the two. Shane felt like he came into the season the healthiest he's been in a while, and then maybe that's the difference here, but he's looking strong. You still got to fix this, though, and I'm not saying that means he's 100% lethal, because even in the first game against the Devils, while he was awesome, he had some turnovers. Third period wasn't so smooth. Some things in transition wasn't so great. So I'm not acting as if this is just like, hey, you fix things. But it's nice if he can give you this, right? I mean, it's a bonus considering what we've been sitting through. But there's still a lot to clean up. Let's get to my sponsor over at Orbit Energy and Power. With over 20 years of experience in the solar industry, they're home to your solar experts. Their solar program eliminates your electric bill completely. They offer flexible financing solutions such as $0 down. They provide water purification, backup energy services, battery storage, and more. So check out their information. It is all down below. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next time.